The Elf and the Toymaker. December is always a busy time of year at the North Pole. This is the home of Santa's toy factory. One year it was especially busy. Santa was touring the factory, making sure things were going to plan. As usual, his team of tiny elves was hard at work. Each elf had a different job. Dennis opened the letters sent by boys and girls. Babs checked whether they had been good or bad. Marco read what the good children wanted for Christmas. And Beth wrote lists of all the toys to be made. Paddy and Pip were busy operating the Toymaker. Paddy read out the name of a toy. "One robot for John." Pip typed it into a computer. The Toymaker built it, wrapped it, and stuck on a label. Alfie was sweeping the storeroom. He had the most boring job in the factory. It was so boring he often fell asleep. Zzz. "Wake up, Alfie," boomed Santa. "It's time to go home." "Already?" yawned Alfie. "You're always asleep on the job," complained Santa. "Go home," he ordered, "and don't come back tomorrow unless you're wide awake." "It is not fair." Alfie trudged through the deserted factory. "If I was in charge of the Toymaker, I'd never be bored," he sighed. Alfie had often wanted a closer look at the magical machine. Now was his chance. Climbing on top, he peeked down the main tube. But he lost his balance. Ooh, ah! And he fell in. Ah! Hours later, Alfie awoke surrounded by cogs and wires. "Oh, I must have knocked myself out," he thought. "How do I get out?" Suddenly Alfie felt the walls shake. Paddy and Pip had started up the machine. "Oh no!" yelled Alfie. "I'll be squished to pieces." Alfie scrambled around in panic, trying to get out. But the more he wriggled, the more he got tangled in the wiring. "Help!" Alfie's wriggling had an odd effect on the Toymaker. The first few toys came out fine. "Splendid work." But the next batch looked stranger. "What?" And stranger. "How?" And stranger. "Who?" Until Alfie! The Toymaker began churning out hundreds of little Alfie dolls. Santa tried to turn it off, but it just kept going. Wah! Ouch! Oof! With an enormous burp, the machine shot out the real elf. Wah! Santa glared angrily at Alfie. "The Toymaker will take weeks to fix, and there are still hundreds of toys to make." "I am sorry," sniffed Alfie. "I'll have to give these dolls instead," said Santa sadly. That year, instead of roller skates or a football, hundreds of children received Alfie dolls. And they were the most popular toy ever. Next year, Santa and his elves had requests for thousands more. So the elves fixed the Toymaker to make Alfie dolls, and Santa put Alfie in charge. As long as he stayed on the outside this time. The end.